Most people talk about finding themselves. Jared Leuschen is actually doing it. He's somewhere on the other side of the world right now, actually in Buenos Aires, and we're going to have a wonderful conversation with him about real stories, real leadership, and real connection. Please welcome Jared Lucien, CEO of Blue Tree Technology Group. Jared, it's wonderful to have you here.
Thank you for the invitation, Kimberly. I'm
You're
excited
more
for our
than welcome.
conversation.
Me too, me too. The episode is titled Unmasked, The Secret to Finding Peace and Success. And I know in having multiple conversations with you over the last year and a half, so you have been on this journey literally to get clarity in your life, to get aligned. And I'm curious, as you've done all this work, what was it like to be in that person you used to be? What did that feel like for you at that time?
I I think what the easiest way to describe that, the simplest way is exhausted.
Mm,
I as I look back on this the previous version of me, which has been who I've been my whole life up until very recently, is I find that I was carrying a lot of weight unnecessarily. I made decisions at a young age of created belief systems that were either handed to me or I adopted from other people, and uh, found myself in life protecting myself, feeling like I needed to stay safe, and staying safe meant hiding certain parts of me, or keeping other people from seeing parts of me. And in addition to that, I was in hyper performance mode, right? Trying to control, manipulate situations to get an outcome, to be perceived in a certain way that I thought other people would want, to be accepted, and never really being fully me in the process. And so the result of that was a lot of emotional weight. And the funny part is, I don't think I was even doing this consciously. I didn't even know I was doing this. It's like I woke up one day and went, hold on a second, maybe there's a better way. Unfortunately, it took me, close to 50 years to get there.
Hey, but you're there where a lot of people still don't get there or ignoring it, ignoring that feeling or desire to want more, want better, want something different. So really have applauded you in your journey and I know you're still doing it, but you've come so far. I was curious just to help other people who might be in this scenario. What did you notice was the cost to you in being in that role where you're not you're kind of running all the shoulds in the history and not really and performing to the market or to the industry or to expectations. What was the cost of that for you, whether it was as a leader, as a CEO, as a business person, your relationship with your kids? Just can you go a little more in depth about what that actually cost you?
Wow. I think that's easier to talk about on a personal level. In my relationships, it impacts business too, but the the impact is much stronger in my personal relationships. What you and I have talked before about this idea of me wearing masks, and I think that when I've shared that before, the idea is not that I was trying to show someone a version of myself that wasn't real, it was dishonest, right? It's more about um, adapting to my environment, and hiding parts of me that I didn't think would be accepted or approved. And the the disappointing part and the hard part to talk about, and the most negative impact in what I created in that process was not letting people that I cared about most in life, and that cared about me most in life, letting them see all of me, letting them show up for me when I needed someone to show up for me, not knowing how to ask for help, not being willing to be truly vulnerable, and the result of that is a natural barrier. And I recognized challenges that came from this in my marriage, in who I was as a father, how I could connect with my boys, right? As well as my friendships, my family relationships, and as well as in business, this extended feeling that I was unworthy, right? I wasn't good enough, and therefore I had to keep people out so that they wouldn't see that part of me. They wouldn't know that, because if they saw that, if they realized that, if they learned that, they would most likely abandon me, and that was too much for me to take.
Yeah, that's really a deep share. Thank you for sharing that. That's truly being vulnerable. Yeah, I think I know myself from just having my character building exercises of life, of things that have happened to me. You feel that if anybody really found out about what happened to you, they wouldn't accept you and therefore wouldn't love you. So you put on, whether it's a sense of perfection
Mm.
or a mask, if you will, because you don't want anyone to see that part of you, right? Because you don't think they're going to accept you, love you. They possibly will even leave and abandon you. And so I think many of us, not to take away from what you're sharing, but I think uh, people do feel that way. But what's ironic is in you being vulnerable and showing that side of yourself, you actually get more love, more acceptance, more connection, more community, because guess what? People see themselves in you because they're not perfect either. And so by you showing your imperfections, they can share their imperfections, which creates really the beauty around it.
I love that, Kimberly. I think you're right. I mean, I'm learning that in real time. I'm realizing that as I have learned to become more vulnerable, as I'm learning every day to be more open and more willing to share. The natural consequence is that the people I'm sharing with are doing the same in return. And the bond between us is growing exponentially. And the love I feel today is incredible. And it's sad to me that I've been missing out all these years, but also very very rewarding and comforting to know that I don't have to miss out anymore, and I get to show and give love in a way that I never have been before at the same time. And so even though I haven't been able to show up as well as I could have in my relationships historically, I now know that I can and how to, and I'm practicing that every day, and it's providing an incredible result and outcome and creating a lot of peace right now.
Yeah, I think in the beginning when you were deciding to take this step, I know it was really difficult, heart-wrenching for you. You had a big concern about your relationships would be collateral damage in this process. And it's so beautiful to see that that's not the case. That's actually where your abundance has become, right? Because you're seeing that they accept you. There's more authenticity. You're raw, they're raw, there's no more mask there. And the intimacy that's created a result of that with the people that are significantly important to you has been strengthened through this change. And I just wanted to point that out too, because it was it's
Thank you.
pretty amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and not every relationship has benefited. I mean, in the sense that we have grown closer, right? I have people in my life that have disappeared, have gone away because of the changes I'm making, and that has been difficult, has been really difficult. But I also recognize today that that's okay. Like, it's okay.
It's okay.
Like they're making their decisions, and I'm making my decisions, and my decisions today are based in truth and based in honesty, based in vulnerability and love. And if that doesn't align to what I thought we had, that's okay. And if they need something else, or they need to follow a different path, or uncomfortable for whatever reason, like there doesn't need to be judgment. It just is.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. And you have to let
Easier
go.
said than done
I
sometimes,
know,
right?
totally.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's hard to
yeah.
let go. It's hard, we ache for relationships that were there, or we ache for the relationships to be better, or a certain thing. It's hard to let go. And you just have to accept that people are on their own journey and their own figuring it out. And then, if it's supposed to be, it will come back or not, or and you just kind of you can only do your part, right? So that's what's most important. I want to take you back to a conversation we had a while back because I thought it was very poignant. You're still doing business, but you're able to delegate a lot to your team, and we'll get into more of that here in a second. But you were on a phone while you were traveling with, I don't know if it was a media person, an advertising person. You were having a conversation, and you immediately noted that you are starting to get tense, and shoulders were tightened, and you caught yourself. Uh, I don't know whether it was trying to control the situation or be a different person than who you've become, and you caught yourself. Would you mind sharing that story? Because I thought it was so impactful about just do you remember what I'm talking about?
I do. I
Do you
do.
mind
Thanks
sharing
for
that?
putting
Because
me
I
on the
think it was
spot.
powerful. What?
Yeah. I said, thanks for putting me on the spot. Yes.
Sorry about that. I mean, if you don't want to share it, that's
No,
fine.
no,
That's fine.
this
So
is
yeah,
no,
but I thought
I'm
it was
teasing.
just such a true moment, and I was such a aha moment, and just yeah. So if you wouldn't mind, I thought that was it was
I'll try and give the short version, right?
yeah.
But I recall that experience very well. I'd forgotten that I'd share that with you. Thanks for calling attention to this. Actually, this is actually something I'm very proud of. So I was joking. I do like talking about it, but I as I have been practicing and learning how to be more aware of the why behind my actions, my decisions, right? I've been living a life that on the outside looked very successful, but inward was not congruent with who I wanted to be, but not recognizing how to define that person, right? But most of my decisions were based in fear. Most of my actions were based in fear. Most of my life was filled with anxiety and stress and performance, all based in fear. And so as I am learning to unwind and detach from all those old practices that weren't serving me, haven't been serving me, I am becoming more aware in closer to near real time. It's not quite there yet, but that example you're sharing, I was on a call with a client actually,
Mm,
and this we were having a conversation, and the CEO of this organization that my team supports was very frustrated, very stressed, full of anxiety, and I found myself mid conversation doing what I had done before, which was reflecting what was being given to me. You know, my defenses were going up because the conversations was not easy. You know, there was finger pointing involved, and a lot of that towards my team. And I found myself not only getting defensive, but also thinking to myself, this is a very big client. What are we going to do if we lose them? Right. Going back onto those old patterns that I've been operating from for many, many years now. I recognized this halfway through the conversation. It wasn't immediate, though. Halfway through the conversation, it's almost like I was an observant outside looking in. And I asked the individual if we could just take a breath for a moment because it was pretty heated at that point. And I apologized. I asked for a minute just to take a breather and a reset. And we literally went into a silence mode for probably, it was probably only like 30 seconds. It felt like an hour. And the minute I spoke, I had calmed down. My nervous system was settling. I said, I apologize. This is not a conversation that I like having. It's not one that I'm comfortable having. I would like to change the conversation to something that is more productive for both of us. I don't like how I'm showing up right now, and I want to show up better in this conversation for you and for myself. And and the result of that was the individual I was speaking with calmed down immediately, mirrored me in that moment, and we were both able to move forward and talk about the issues at hand, and we started talking through potential resolutions. And we ended up leaving the conversation with defined action items, and both of us saying thank you for coming to this, and we're looking forward to resolving this. It ended up being a very positive conversation afterwards, but it definitely wasn't that way when we entered in. Um, I'm I'm working on regulating my nervous system on a more consistent basis, and operating in a way that is aligned with my truth, with service, with love, not fear. But it's going to take time,
No,
and
and it's hard, and
maybe
it's hard,
maybe the rest
especially,
of my life. Yeah.
yeah, especially when, you know, for CEOs and founders too, or and leaders, there is a kind of a role that you're required to play. You kind of have to put the mask on, you know. You're not supposed to necessarily share everything with everybody. You're supposed to be the smartest one in the room, have all the answers, be the power play, whatever it posture, right? Everyone's supposed to look up to you, right? And in that's called by social form norms and industry and expectations above, like just like you expect every attorney to be adversarial, right? So it's about readjusting that for what that means for you. And it was probably a relief for this particular CEO to not have to posture, not to be that person, right? Because he's always it's an expectation to show up that way, right? To an extent, right? So
Yeah.
it was probably very freeing for him.
Yes.
There are different ways to connect. There are different ways to do business. It doesn't have to be adversarial. You know, you can instead of being opposing each other on the playing field, you could actually sit on the same side as teams and try to get the ball forward across the field versus going back and forth and trying to prevent each other from moving the ball. How productive is that? Neither one of you get a goal, right? Versus coming around and
Mhm.
both working as a team, pushing that ball all the way to the end of the to the goal line, which is exactly what you guys did, right? So I just think it's a whole new shift in just how we can communicate and build relationships and solve problems, really, more importantly.
I
Um,
agree. I
yeah.
agree. Yeah,
Another thing that
completely.
I thought of, you are in our Vistas group, but I know you're taking a break. But you were sharing with the group a challenge you were having that was creating a lot of anxiety for you and keeping you up at night. And you were carrying that all on your shoulders, all of it. And I think someone had asked if the rest of your team knew about it, at least your direct reports, your directors, and you had said no. And somebody said, well, why not? But it was a fear of sharing that to them with them, right? Because why? The mask was I'm supposed to have it all going on. I'm the leader, I can't fail. There can't be anything wrong. I can't be vulnerable. But when you did turn around and share what the challenge was with the team, they turned around and helped you, right? Do you remember that? Or they took some
I
ownership to it.
remember. I
Yeah.
remember. I
Yeah.
remember the conversation in our Vistage group session, and I don't remember the exact scenario or what the challenge was, but I do remember the conversation. I remember being counseled by the team by my peers to take a different approach, and I listened. And it was one of the first times when I learned that I don't have to do it all myself, and because the result is exactly what you outlined, right? I was honest with the team, my team leads, department heads, and I asked for help. And we had a working session, and they came with amazing ideas, great recommendations, proving that they were fit for the job that I hired them to do. Right? Surprise, surprise.
Surprise. Surprise. Yeah.
Uh,
They're actually good.
the
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
learned a lot since then. Even taking this trip, I got to this point when I left the states. I was escaping life in some way. Right, I had to get away, and I didn't know how to heal or how to start working through this stuff. I just knew that the weight that I was carrying got too heavy, and I couldn't fully define it. And I went to my team and I asked them to support me in doing this, which was
Mm.
which took a lot for me to do that, to share that, because now I'm bringing personal things into the business, right? And I'm asking them to trust me that as I step away, that it's not forever. It's not, and that they should feel secure in their jobs. I'm not going to be there full time, but I need this time away, and Kimberly, the result. I mean, it's been 6 months, right? The results has been incredible. We are we are we are leaner. We're more profitable than we've ever been, ever in the history of the company, right? And
And how old's the
and
company?
I am less involved today than I ever have been. The
How
company
how
is
how how old is the
10
company?
11, almost 12 years now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it is it is a testament to the people in the position that they're in. My team is amazing. The trust and the loyalty is stronger than ever because of the work that I've been doing, and now they're emulating. But the fact that we're doing as well as we are is because they are damn good at their jobs, and they trust that I'm going to keep showing up when they need me to show up, but only when they need me to show up. and that has come through a process of me learning to let go and not trying to control everything, and letting the right people control the right things. And it's proving really beneficial for the company, and for me, obviously, and for all involved.
So note that listeners, founder CEOs, by letting go, you actually become more successful. Where you think if I hook down more, control more, or involve more, it'll otherwise the company won't grow. And this is a really great proof point to show you that let these great people do their job as well as they're capable of, and trust in them and validate them and give them space to grow and make decisions and make mistakes. And you too can find that success too. And peace. So any other comments you would give to people possibly in kind of similarly going through something? You even just interesting enough, I want to take it. You shared you were where were you? You were hiking on this long, long trek, and you ran into another gentleman who was going through the same thing you were going through, right? Could you just quickly give that story? Like, meaning,
Very similar.
yeah, it was just very fascinating and validating for you. Like, here's somebody else. I don't even know. I'm meeting on this remote trail out in the middle of whatever, the southernmost part of the South America, and he happens to be going through something similarly. So, you would care to share?
Yeah, I'm learning. Thank you for bringing this up. I'm actually learning that more consistently recently, that I'm not alone in the world. That there's a lot of people, a lot of CEOs, a lot of men, a lot of women too, that have had similar life stories, similar struggles, in knowing who they are, and are on a path to finding themselves. And yeah, coincidentally, I was hiking a a long trail up to a glacier, mountainous glacier on in Chile, and I'm in Patagonia, and I'm freezing my tail off, and I'm about 5 or 6 hours in, and I'm walking around this frozen lake, and just enjoying the solitude. I thought I had the entire, part of the continent there alone to myself, and I decided to start heading back before the sun sets, and this man comes walking down the embankment that I was heading up, and and he stops and he asks if I speak English, which I agreed to. I said yes and acknowledged, and he said, he's like, I don't know why, but I feel inclined to tell you that I have been on a journey for the last couple months, having left Australia, and I'm on a soul journey, and trying to find myself, my purpose, and heal through some challenging traumatic things from when I was younger. And he said, have you experienced anything like that? And we immediately bonded. We ended up spending the next 4 or 5 hours together on the hike back, had dinner afterwards. His name's Nathan. We ended up reconnecting in 3 different cities, I think, as we traveled
Oh,
further
wow.
south.
Oh, wow.
separating, time in between. And he now is home and is very excited to reintegrate into life and take what he's learned on his path. But yeah, it's I looked at it as a coincidence initially, but I've had a few other experiences like that just in the last few weeks that have me thinking that there is something else going on here, because I am attracting people into my life that want to share and are open to and giving me the opportunity to share, which is really important to me right now. And so it's fascinating. I don't know what to make of it, but I'm not complaining by any means.
No, no, yeah, and I hope you don't mind. I'm going to share a comment you made around this. You had said you've always felt like you're the one behind, that everybody else is ahead of you, and for some reason you're behind, whether it's you didn't know enough, do enough, be enough, whatever, follow the right path, whatever. And this was the first time you feel like you're ahead in that, and you are, and but you're here to mentor other people who want to take this journey. And so just reminding you that you're no longer behind. So yeah,
Yeah.
um,
Thank you for that.
yeah,
Yeah, I see
um,
that now.
yeah, yeah. So Jared, any other closing thoughts you'd like to share? It's always just a joy to talk to you. I'm just so proud of you and your journey and where you're going. And it's what people most think when you step away, everything's going to crash. And here it is. It's moving so well abundantly without you. And it's bringing that peace to your life, um, and success too, that you've always wanted. And I'm so proud of you in this process.
Thanks, Kimberly. I think the only thing coming to mind that maybe I can share before we wrap up is uh, I used to I used to try and define authenticity in a logical way, right? As in, the dictionary says it's XYZ, and so this is what that means. And what I've realized is that it can maybe be defined differently by the individual. But for me, what's important, and I think maybe others can benefit from this, is authenticity doesn't mean having to share everything, right? We
Right.
don't have to tell everything that's in our brains, everything we're thinking of. It simply means that we're not pretending to be someone we're not. And and for me and for all humans alike, I think the more that we can lean into that, the more we will all win in the process. Because what I'm recognizing more and more each day is that when others are being authentic, I feel it. When I'm being authentic, I feel it. It's not something that can be defined logically. And I can't explain it more than that right now. But what I know is that it is a feeling that is getting stronger. And that's the connection I think that is bringing me together with other people who are like minded on a similar path in life right now. And the more we can all do that, the more we will find our people, find those connections that drive true meaning in life, and the more that we will be pushed towards peace and happiness. And I yearn for a world that looks that way.
I totally agree. I totally agree. So many people can learn from your journey here, and there's so much more joy or peace when you are allowed to be yourself. Because lucky you, Jared, you're the only one that got the job. So
Mm.
no one
Yeah.
else did. So yeah. So.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for joining us on the Kimberly Connection Corner, where we have real stories from a wonderful real leader, and he's really found some real connection, not only with himself, but it's also proved it with his other relationships as well. So um, we'll see you next month, same time, same place. But Jared, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Kimberly.
Okay,
I
bye for
appreciate
now.
you.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
bye.